for joining me today to do this podcast. My name is Rowana Litani,
Yeah,
and um, yeah, I was just wondering if we could speak about community sports, and we could start off by getting to know you and what your background with sports is.
yeah, definitely. So my background in sports, I think it goes back to when I was, in school. Um, like, you know, we kind of done various sports in school. So that's like from football to like basketball. And as I went into like high school and everything like that, I took up basketball as a main thing that I wanted to kind of pursue. Um, done that for a little bit. And after high school, I kind of dropped out of doing basketball. So I played for the school basketball team. Um, and then kind of moved at that time to London as well. So when I moved to London, obviously, I was thinking of doing some kind of team sports and stuff like that. So the colleagues that I
Amazing.
was working with at the moment, at that time, um, I was basically getting to play football with them as well. So we do that quite regularly, playing football, five-a-side, on those AstroTurfs that you can find all over London. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of my background and a little bit of sports. So not a huge fanatic in a sense of sports, but do like to play it, definitely.
You keep up
So
to
yeah.
date with anything, or like with the football news? Or is it more
Um,
just like you enjoy taking part with some of your friends from work or some friends?
yeah, mostly just with my friends, to be honest. It's more of a hobby, and some sort of a passion in a sense as well, from obviously playing it since I was a young child to like obviously being an adult right now.
Right,
Yeah,
amazing.
it's always been good. Yeah. Um,
And then could you also tell us some more about the company you work with and the work you do
yeah, of
with them?
course. Definitely. So I work for a construction company called Higgins Partnership. We're basically a family-run construction company for over 60 years, with an annual turnover around 250 million odd. So yeah, I think that the figure's a bit higher right now. But yeah, basically we are basically a tier two contractor.
Mhm.
We predominantly work with local housing associations, local authorities, so that your local council,
Mhm.
to kind of address like the housing, some sort of a crisis at the moment, you can say, in London at the moment, kind of,
Definitely.
yeah. So kind of helping to kind of deliver on the councils and the local authorities kind of commitment of developing more houses for all the clients that they have kind of waiting in their lists and everything like that. So yeah, that's what we kind of do. Yeah, we take the development from obviously from all the way from the starting side of it. So we manage the whole
Yeah.
process from obviously the architectural drawings to the engineering process to actually developing, to like the finishing product, and then we have various other teams who kind of look after that aftermath as well, before we kind of hand it over to our clients basically. Um, yeah, but majority of the time it takes around like 2 years average, give or take, and hopefully, with if we can get all the permissions and the process kind of signed off, everything like that at the start, it kind of process speeds up the process because we have to work with so many different teams and everything like that. So yeah, it takes a little bit of time, but we get there at the end. But yeah,
Amazing. I did
no
also
worries.
have a look and I saw that Higgins Partnership does some amazing work within the community. So not only do they do like a larger scale of helping out with the housing, but I've also seen that they do on a smaller scale of like, helping out with food with the homeless shelter and like sports day with some kids. Could
Yeah.
you tell us some more about that? Have you been involved in like organizing some of that or taking part in any of that?
Um, I'd say more taking part. Because so we have obviously managers and stuff that kind of handle.
Yeah.
So we do like from what you've just seen and researched, we do sponsor
Mhm.
quite a lot of teams, a lot of um, as one of the commitments of Higgins and our values was to kind of help the local communities that we work in. So yeah, we do. One of the fondest memories for me would be when I first of all started with Higgins was working with a charity called Sports Inspired. Don't know if you've heard of them.
I
That'd
think
be
I think so.
yeah,
Yeah.
really really amazing charity. They help like young people with kind of who are not so much. They work with predominantly primary schools to kind of get the kids to kind of engage with sports from a young age, kind of like plant those seeds from young to kind of take on sports as they kind of get older. So we sponsored a sports, well, we sponsored various ones after that of, getting a sports challenge in a sense together. So my first initial one was when I first originally started was like 2002, yeah, 2002, where we had the Hackney Games. There was like over 20 odd schools that took part. And yeah, it was a really, really amazing experience. I think a
So
lot of those students, yeah,
was it
sorry,
also
yeah,
like a bunch of like a variation of different sports that you guys did for them, and like were there medals given out? Were there stickers? Or, like, what
yeah,
encouragement did you give for the? Because I know that like I've worked with kids in the past as well, and like
yeah,
especially when they're younger, they're like, where's my reward? A sticker like drives them insane. They're like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. I've
yeah,
done like, I've put in the effort and I've got my reward. So was there any like
yeah,
sort
yeah,
of
of course.
reward system or like, encouragement for like joining in?
Yeah, yeah, no, definitely. So obviously when they were first came into the actual sports center, we kind of, got into teams in the school teams
Mhm.
basically. So it was each class was basically that team for that school. And there was various like trophies and medals as well at the end of it. So each student that participated basically got a medal. Even
Amazing.
we got a medal as well, which was really quite nice as well. And then
I'm yet
obviously
to
there was
receive
trophies.
one, but no, I haven't received
You have
any
to
for
take
taking
part.
part, but yeah.
Uh, hopefully you get one. Hopefully we can invite you to obviously take part in some of the other events that we kind of do as well. So yeah, the students basically really enjoy the process and everything like that. I think a lot of the students were not really that keen at the start, so they had to do basically a team chant at the so every time they went to a new game
Mhm.
or a new sports that they basically were going to try out, they had to do their team chant to kind of like uh, show the person who's taking up the scores and everything like that, that they were quite engaged and happy and everything to be kind of be there and stuff. And the team that done it the best actually won a trophy at the end of it. So it was not so much how much you scored, but how energetic you were throughout the day that you were basically getting a trophy for. So yeah, which was quite nice, a way to kind of encourage the students to become more active, So there was like sports from football, basketball, dancing to I can't remember what it was called, but there's one where you had to throw the ball and everything like that. But yeah, overall, it was an amazing day. One of the fondest memories that I have still working at Higgins. So yeah.
Um, do you have any advice for someone who would want to take part in these sports but are a bit apprehensive? Like, is there any words of encouragement for someone who's, you know, interested in community sports but doesn't really know where to begin or where to find the courage to go towards it?
Yeah, yeah, of course. I think Google is always a good tool to use to kind of find out what you have in the local area. Because when I first of all moved to London, obviously I had friends, but a lot of them didn't want to do sports. Quite lazy. But
No, yeah. I feel
you
like a
know,
lot of people, they are a bit like not only lazy, but it's like I think it's a bit different. Like I think after, like you said, with like secondary school or high school, people they start to like let go of sports because it becomes like
Yeah.
the pressure is on you. Like you either do it or you don't. There's no sort of
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
someone pushing you to do it like at school. So
Yeah, yeah, no,
yeah, I
of course,
completely get that.
definitely. Yeah. Yeah. So especially, having a 9 to 5 job and then
Mhm.
afterwards kind of balancing it to do, some sports at the end of it, or even doing it at the weekends where you can actually just be, putting up your feet after a long, hard week, to actually do sports. I don't blame them. But ideally, going onto Google and seeing where your local pitches are, it's always a good shout. I've done that in the past, but somewhat established a group now that we do, play regular sports together. Um, and yeah, especially I think everything kicks off in when it comes to like, summertime and everything like that. So yeah, it's a good way to kind of network with people, meet new people, and good way to like, just improve your communication skills, teamwork skills. Yeah, there's so many transferable skills that you kind of develop as well through it. So yeah, it's quite nice. I feel that helps.
Um, yeah, I think that's amazing. There's so
Yeah,
many different
yeah,
benefits and like long-term skills you can
yeah,
gain from it.
definitely.
And I was also wondering, like, like closing off now, what is there that we can look forward to from Higgins Partnership? Like, is there any, community sports that, will be coming in the future? Anything exciting to look out for?
Yeah, I think so. Our ongoing partnership with Sports Inspired is something that you should be looking out for. Like from all the communities that we work in all over
Mhm.
London and in Surrey, we do try and work with Sports Inspired to kind of see where we can sponsor them to basically go into the schools and kind of put a program together while we fund it. Along with obviously they have other funders as well that kind of help facilitate that that event, which is always quite nice. So yeah, Sports Inspired I think was one of them, and then we do try and do internally have sports tournaments as well within the company. But for communities, I say I think there's a few things in the pipeline. I don't know if I can kind of share them, or yeah, or my
I might
managers
have
would
to
have
organize
the final details.
another Zoom call.
Yeah, 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 definitely.
Part two of what's to come,
Yeah, yeah,
keeping
yeah, yeah,
people
of
on their
course.
toes.
Yeah, pending, of course, just give a little bit of sauce before we actually deliver. But yeah, there's a lot of things what we do for communities, and there's a lot of various ways that we kind of engage with communities, from like obviously with sports, but also kind of giving um the opportunities to like young people to kind of see the various opportunities that we have in construction as well,
Mhm.
which is quite nice. That's from like, doing our careers talks, going into prisons, giving them the opportunity to see, this is what we have at Higgins. And we're quite diverse as a company as well, which is quite nice, and we try and welcome everyone as much as possible. So yeah, hopefully that's
Yeah.
helpful.
And I think that
Yeah.
is, the like true like meaning of like community sports is like the diversity and inclusivity, like making sure everyone feels welcomed regardless of
Yeah.
what their, background is. Like you said, you guys reach out to people in prisons and like try and motivate them towards, something within the community that they can work towards. So that's
Yeah,
great to hear.
definitely. Yeah. 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 So yeah,
Um,
there's different things that we do. Yeah. So it's quite nice working for the company that kind of gives back to the community, not just obviously develop so many beautiful properties for people to, you know, the lasting legacy, but also, give back to the communities in various other ways as well. So yeah,
Thank you so much for your time.
no, my pleasure.
And it's been amazing hearing about all the work that you do and your perspective on like community sports and Higgins Partnership, what you guys get up to. So thank you so much for your time.
No, my pleasure. Thank you as well. All
Thank you.
right. No worries.